analyzed by using Nvivo. Because earlier you told how to analyze interviews and all, but how to analyze systematic literature review data. So can you please explain that?
Ma'am, systematic literature review data can be put into Nvivo. Okay, for example, you put hundreds of PDF files. Yesterday you put one file, you put 100 files, and do a word count and a word cloud the way I told you. Okay.
So do we have to read each and every line, and then we have to code each and every line, like if paper is of like 22 pages and all?
No. See, ma'am, in an SLR paper, we are supposed to be reading and extracting literature from that paper. Okay. For that, we will have to read the paper. So it's not that, you are talking about a different thing altogether. So in an SLR paper, coding and theming is not done. Okay, in an SLR paper, different types of analysis are done. For example, there's an analysis that, you can make a graph on the publication year, okay, and show that, okay, in this year, these many publications were there, this year, these many publications were there. Further, you can make a table and say that way back in 1976, this concept was defined as this. In 2020, it is defined as this. In between 1990, it was defined as this. Now, all this cannot be done through Nvivo, right?
All right.
The only thing Nvivo can help you over here is that when you put those 100, files, you can do a text search, which I will tell you, okay, which is definitions, okay? So when you do a text search and you write definitions into it, in the paper, wherever there's a definition, okay, those references will open up. So in those 100 papers, the number of times a definition comes, so it is not necessary that it will be the definition of the absolute construct that you're working on. So suppose you're working on green marketing. So it is not that the definition will open only for green marketing, but any definition that is there in the paper, it will open up in all the 100 papers. From all those references, you can choose the definitions of green marketing, tabulate in a table, okay, and present it in an SLR paper.
All right.
So these things can help.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions? Because there were questions yesterday and we were going very late in our session. So today, of course, I think we should.
Yeah, dear participants, if you have any questions, you just ask.
Ma'am, I would like to ask a question that actually still I am vague that the model that will be created from the review or from literature review or from case study or from the interviews, what will be the outcome from this? Whether it will, this is actually the exploratory research, what we are doing actually. In that case, what will be actually the findings from this? That I want to know.
Sir, I had shown you a paper yesterday. Okay. The paper that I had shown you is actually the findings. Okay. So your codes and themes which come out, writing them in paragraphs is actually the findings. Right. I'll again show you the paper. Maybe it was not that clear. So I'm just, give me a minute. I'm sharing that paper. So, sir, please enable my sharing, Imtiaz sir. Yeah. So see, this was the paper. You can see that in the screen. Okay, now these themes which came out were the findings. Okay, see, just see how, these are all the findings. These word clouds, the sentiment analysis, the word frequency, the themes which have come up, explanation of those themes theoretically. These are all findings, sir. In a theoretical or a qualitative paper, the findings are not in statistical terms or tabular forms. The findings in a qualitative paper are like the ones which are written over here. Okay.
Ma'am,
Finally,
the findings from findings from the literature, findings from the interview, will it be different or it should be combined findings?
I didn't get you.
I understood.
I didn't.
What will be the actually whether I'll go for combined findings or separate findings will be there?
No, are you saying that you have some findings from past literature and you have some other findings from personal interview? Is this what you're trying to say?
Yes, I want to say
okay.
this.
So what happens is that, in that case, and I had shown you yesterday also, give me a minute. There was a paragraph here.
I missed
Let me,
a lot of things.
I'll tell you. See, okay. Just can you start reading from AI deployment also streamlines? Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am, I see.
Yes, AI deployment also streams and facilitates blah, 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 and transparency in information flow. So transparency came out to be as a code or a theme. He says that respondent number 7, he uses the quote or reference of respondent number 7 to explain that this was a genuine code or this was a genuine theme. Okay, so respondent number 7's quote he has given where he says, when an employee uses AI, there is a transparency of information. He's given the exact quotes which have been said. Further, please read the next paragraph. Can you read it out after respondent 17's paragraph? Can you read it out? Yeah. These findings are in line with the findings of Jarahi and Badar and Kesar. Now, what is this? These findings which he found out were in sync with the past literature. Okay, these two papers. He's written that. At the same time, this is just for one code called transparency or one theme called transparency. Now, next time when he explains the next theme, okay, so suppose in my paper, I gave you 3 themes. Okay, I took a theoretical base, which was 3 R's: recycle, reuse, reduce. If I am explaining that Indians reuse their products in blah, blah, blah way, and respondent number 20 said that I reuse my product in such a way, so here the code is reuse or the theme is reuse. But reuse is a very common theme and it has been stated in past literature. So I will write this paragraph which says that these findings of reuse are in sync with the past literature. But I will get some new codes also, especially from my personal interview. Now, in these codes, I will write that in reuse, the Indians had a sense of donation. So donation becomes my new code. And I will also say that past literature did not support. Okay, I will say past literature did not show any reuse in the form of donation. So this is my new code. Past literature has not supported it, but this is something which I came out with because my study is exploratory and I had to come out with a new variable in qualitative study. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
We have one question. Ms. Fitri asks, can we just use keywords such as green marketing, corporate governance to find the frequencies it appears in paper?
Yes, it can be. So I will do with you today. Yeah, meanwhile, just let me open Nvivo. I haven't opened it. I was in another session. So I'm just opening Nvivo. And I'll just share the screen so that, I can explain to you also. So in Nvivo, we do have an operation called text search, okay, which can help you. And I'll also tell you how text search can supplement your coding or theming or can supplement word count. Okay, I'll just tell you how these functions can supplement each other or help you validate the model. Because if you don't validate the model, if you don't show the editor that again and again and again I'm getting the same codes, he will not accept the new code of donation. So here, how I can go about that is I go to explore, I go to text search. Okay, I choose Indian transcripts is the sheet I was working on. So let me choose that. Okay, and I firstly let me choose items. So I choose interview transcript. I have chosen one. Probably you could choose as many transcripts as you have. And here I want to know that I came up with a theme yesterday called donation. I want to see whether it is a genuine theme in all the files. So all I do is I go to run query. Okay, and the query has no results. Okay, okay. One thing I forgot to do is I should have taken stemmed words. So donation, donating, donate, it will take as different words. So I take stemmed words and now run the query. And yes, there are 7 references in one file itself. Okay, so in one transcript, if there are 7 references, you can imagine that in 25 transcripts, there will be so many references. Now, if I want to know that my past literature has that variable or not. So I came up with suppose I came up with a variable called donation, and I want to check if the past research has that variable or not. So what do I do? I want to check. So what do? I go to explore, I go to text search, and in text search, I go to select items. And in select items, I go to my domestic artifacts, which was Dr. Vyas's paper. You might have got some 20 to 100 papers, like somebody was talking about SLR. So I say, okay, and I go to stemmed word. Please do go to stemmed word, otherwise the software will not find anything near that. So donate, donation, donating, anything it comes, it will find out. And I go to run query. Okay, and it says no results returned. Now, what does this mean? This means that when my past data was put into the software, and in past data or in the papers which are past literature review papers or my competitor papers, this new variable called donation was never invented. Okay, and if it is showing in my personal interview, which means definitely this is something new which has not been reported, and this becomes the gap of my research too. Okay, so this is a gap in my research which I have filled. So I could, sometimes, in introduction chapter also I write that, there was a gap in research and I have filled that gap. Okay, so even over here, once we see that donation has not come up as a major theme in my competitor papers, we can actually add this into findings also. Okay, we can show in findings that I took all the past papers, donation did not come up as a theme over there, which means nobody has reported it. Right. And when it comes to sustainability papers, nobody has reported it in reuse. Right. But at the same time, I am the person who's reporting it. So that itself makes a niche for your paper. Right? Yes. Any further questions?
Another
Ma'am,
clarification
one
needed.
question.
Uh,
Yes, yes, one by one. Yes.
like, should the word cloud also be part of the article? Is it mandatory or not? The word cloud is
What will
mandatory.
a word cloud can be a part of the article, sir. Even in this paper that I showed you, the sample paper that I'm showing you, Dr. Arpan Kar's paper, Nishta's paper, Dr. Nishta's paper, they have made a word cloud.
Yeah. Recently, I saw a lot of articles they are using word cloud. But although I don't think so, it's mandatory because I saw a lot of qualitative articles without the word cloud. And even I
Oh,
also
yes.
published one article in Scopus Q2, which is
Yes.
qualitative and Islamic finance.
Yes.
So that one we didn't use any word cloud, but it accepted.
Yes, so word cloud is not necessary in a qualitative paper. Okay, word cloud is not necessary in a qualitative paper. But if you are saying that you used NVivo, now in this paper, why it is a very different qualitative paper or why I use it as a sample is because they are using NVivo. Okay, they have, see, not that coding can only be done through NVivo. Way back when I did my PhD and I was doing my qualitative research, so we used to code all this manually.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody said donation, I used to highlight it and I used to put those tally marks, okay, one respondent said donation. Then I used to go to the second script, read donation. Okay, two respondents said donation. So donation is a main theme. So this is something I've done manually also. You don't necessarily have to use an NVivo. But if you do use an NVivo, like Dr. Arpan Kaur has done, so he has used two tools over there. One, he has shown a word cloud table, and one, he has shown a sentiment analysis. Yes, sir.
Then
Yes.
frequently we follow the research where we firstly follow the exploratory research, then we go for survey research or descriptive. In this case, uh, how we can go through from the exploratory to descriptive or quantitative. In that case, these words or this model we are getting from the exploratory, then we can use this for further.
Yes,
Is
so
it?
sir, in exploration, you found out that donation was a new variable in sustainability, in reuse. Now, I told this yesterday also, somebody had asked me this question. So now you start developing a scale for donation. Okay,
Scale for
so
yes.
you've got the new variable, but we still don't have a scale for donation, and we should not have had a scale for donation. Okay, so if
Yes.
you say that in literature there's already a scale, then donation is not a new variable also, right? So you
Yes.
develop a scale of donation. So you do Cronbach, you do EFA, okay, and develop a scale for donation. So that becomes quantitative research.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
after
you.
qualitative, first exploration,
Ma'am,
then descriptive.
my another question is the reference. What's the meaning of reference here? In the
What's the meaning of reference? Okay, so
yes,
when we were doing coding, we were picking up a few lines from our personal interview. So if this is my personal interview, let me show you. If this is my personal interview, I picked up this line. How did I get the code donation? I got the code donation because there were some references of my interviewees who spoke about it. So right click, code selection, and new code, and in new code you say donate and code selection to new code. So this is how we made a code donation. If I go to codes, I can see that code. So here it is, donate. If I double click it, I will be able to see the code too. Okay, so this is the reference. This is the reference. And not only this reference, it's not only about a single PI. In the single PI, this word has been said 7 times. I told you just through text word count that this word has been said 7 times in one interview. And this word will have been said so many times in interviews if we analyze 25 interviews. Right. So then it becomes a major theme and it should be included in the 3R model. And we should extend the 3R model with a new variant called donation.
okay. That means I am getting this reference informally from this actually coding.
Yes, yes.
Uh, okay,
So
just
it is first thing is you go through a file, okay, and code. So select this, okay, right click it, give it a name. So this is first thing is you make codes from the file. You don't get
Yes.
references straight away. First, we make code for there was a code yesterday, silk sarees and party dresses. So right click, there's a
Yes.
categorization of products, right? So new code, categorization of products. Okay. So like this, you have to read the whole document and do an open coding of each and every sentence which is relevant. And then when you go to codes, you will be able to see those same sentences in the references which you picked up. These references are nothing but what we made for coding.
And if I go through like this way, it will be use coding. Then,
Yes, sir, it is. It
then
is.
what will be?
It
How
is.
can I summarize this
If you want to
huge number?
summarize this, there's something called a word cloud. So you do a word frequency. Okay, select an item. Okay, select this interview. I have selected one, you'll select 25. Go to stemmed and run query. So if you really want to do this is something like an auto code or the number of words which are getting repeated maximum. And if you see over here again, I have donate. I do have donate on number 2.
Yes.
Over here also. So if you want to do it automatically, you don't want to do it manually, this is one way of doing it.
It means that what number of coding it does matter. If I make a summary, then I can get the actually the what it is called, dominating words or
So
the words.
it depends. See, in an automatic coding, something like what I've done over here in a word count. Now, let me see a code called old. What relevance does it have? Tell me. Can you tell me what relevance it has with my theory? Do you see it as a separate variable? Something like old, something like clothes. Actually, these are useless words. They are not supposed to be. This reuse could be one. Yes, reuse, because I was going by the 3R could be one. Now there are words like give, there are words like good. So when you leave it to the software just does a manual calculation on the basis of the words. Giving it a logical theme is the work of the researcher, and you will have to do that.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
Okay,
And
Mr. Kunran Kumar, if you have any questions.
Yes, ma'am. I have a general question. That all the discussion which is going on from yesterday is on the personal interview part. But if somebody is choosing non-participant observation and writing the field data in the field ID, then how to draw some findings and how to do the analysis of the same?
so what sort of field data do you have? It will be in the form of a document only, no? Will you not document it anywhere?
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying that is this the way of transcribing and choosing the themes is similarly applicable to the other methods also?
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
thematic analysis or content analysis is a general analysis done on qualitative data of all types. So whether you're doing ethnography, whether you're doing projective techniques, whether you are doing case study, this can be done to anything, number one. Number two, it can also be done on different data collection types. So I told you there's I mean, in the files, if you see, there's social media data. Okay. There are pictures. See, there are pictures which I've given you. There are interview transcripts, personal interviews. There is secondary data. So there are so many forms of data collection that I'm showing you, which can be analyzed through Nvivo.
Okay, ma'am. And how to make use of the field ID which we are maintaining, writing the contents, the extra part which they are.
How to make a?
We are maintaining a field ID while doing the observation. Then how to make use of that very content which are there in our field ID?
Sir, can you give me an example of this, please, so that the others can also understand?
Ma'am, just for a case, if I'm doing a study on surrogacy, let it be, and I'm doing a non-participant observation, whether I have thrown a general question and the surrogates are just making their own point over the same. And meanwhile,
Sir,
when they
but
are,
if you are, just a second, if you are throwing a question to a sample, how is it non-participatory?
ma'am, the researcher is not a part of the discussion.
Okay, then who's throwing the question to the participants?
Ma'am, the question is thrown by the researcher only, but he is not involved in that discussion, I'm saying.
Okay, fine, fine.
And at the same point of time, if that researcher is maintaining a field ID and he's noting the extra way of talking, the way they are behaving, so how to make use of that extra data which we are noting in our field ID?
Sir, tell me one thing. You are a researcher. You are making a field ID of some XYZ person. Suppose you're
Not
making
ID, ma'am. The ID, field notes, I'm saying.
You are making field notes of me, suppose. The way I'm behaving, etc. Is it going to be like qualitative narrative stuff, or is it going to be like numbers?
Stuffs only. Stuffs only.
It is going to be narrative, na, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
So then it can be. So you're going to put it into a Word file. How are you going to write that?
I am just saying that whether it is just to validate over the same as a part of the data, it would be similar to my data collection thing.
I didn't get your point, sir. The field notes that you're making, you have said it is narrative. Where do you save them? Where do you collect them? Tell me one thing. Where do you save these data notes?
Obviously,
how do you
on
save
notes, them? On notes only, in words only. Definitely,
in
we
Word
write
file.
Yes.
In Word file. So, agreed. In an interview transcript, I have question answers. For you, it will be text which doesn't have questions. That's it. It will be paragraphs. Am I right?
My just a simple query, madam. Sorry, I'm taking longer than
it's
ever.
okay. It's okay. Huh?
I'm just saying that would that field notes would be my primary data? Would also be counted as a primary data only? Since it is not being said by any respondent, since it is not being discussed by any researcher, we are just the researcher in particular is maintaining the notes of the expressions and the other things which he or she is looking around. So would that field notes would be considered as the primary data or not? My question is just this much.
Sir, it depends. If I am going and noticing a person, I'm not talking to him. That is a technique of observation. Okay.
Yes.
I am looking at his features. I might see which products he's picking up from the racks. I might see whether he's happy or not, whether he's shouting on the salesperson or not. And I'm not. I understand that, sir. This technique is called observation, non-participatory observation.
Yes, that only I was saying.
Yeah, this process is non-participatory observation. But I would also consider this as primary data because you went to the respondent. How you got the data from him, whether he spoke, whether he didn't speak, whether you interpreted, that is a different thing. Okay.
So we should do a slight reference that it is from the field notes. We need to do that in our paper or in the thesis which we are mentioning.
We need to
write as a citation that it is from our field note. We need to write it.
Yes, you can do that. So you can say field note. I am saying PI. Somebody will bring focus group. Somebody will bring projective techniques, paragraph. Doesn't matter. You can write that in your paper. We always write that in the research methodology. Okay. So this is like non-participative observation. We will write in our methodology, but when you pull the data into Nvivo, theming will have to be done over there also.
Okay, madam. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thematic analysis is a general concept which applies to all sorts of data collection. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, I am unconsciously raised my hand, but I went away. I would like to ask you because I heard that using Nvivo, we can find the research gap easily. Can you show to us how to do it, to find the research gaps.
I'll do that.
Yes.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
See,
Thank you so much.
Sorry?
Yes. Thank you so much. If you can share with us how to.
I'm doing that, ma'am. I just,
Yeah.
but I'll do it again for you.
Yeah.
See,
thank you so much.
Yeah. This is my secondary data. Yesterday we had pulled in a file of secondary data. I told you this is my competitor paper.
Okay.
Here I have one file so that it's easy for you people to, understand. I can have at least 100 papers like this, right? I can input 100 papers like this. Now I go to text search. Okay. I go to text search. In text search, I select items, and in items, I select all my secondary data. I have selected one, you can select hundreds. And I say, okay. Now I go to stemmed words, okay? And I want to recheck that, has donation ever been studied in the past literature? I have pulled 100 papers from past literature, but I want to see if the donation, and what are these past papers? Because my research is on 3Rs, these past papers are also on the 3R theory. I can't get anything outside the domain and pull it. So all the papers which have been written in the domain of 3R, I have pulled in 100 papers. Now I want to see that from the world of papers, 100 papers, has donation ever been listed a theme, ever been studied as a variable, yes or no? So I write donation, okay, and I go to run query. Now don't consider this as one paper, consider it as 100 papers. Now the software says the query returned no results. What does it mean? It means this word donation or donate, okay, or a synonym of that has never been reported as a variable in the past 100 papers that I put into the software. And if my personal interviews reports this variable, it is finding gap and filling up the gap, or it is a novel research. It is an extension of the present theory, the 3R theory. Is it clear now?
Sorry, I cannot grasp because I'm not familiar yet with the the tools of Nvivo. Maybe later on, I want to rehear again your explanation, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me one thing, ma'am. What is your field of study?
Accounting.
Accounting.
Yes.
Suppose tomorrow I tell you write a paper, you can't pass your PhD till the time you don't give me a Scopus paper. Okay. Now you are very desperate to write a paper. Agreed?
Okay.
Agreed?
Yes, yes.
Tell me one topic you will pick up.
It's about my research is about internal audit function quality.
Audit function quality. Now, you know what I'll do? I'll pick up 100 papers from audit function. I'll pick up 100 papers from audit function. I will select item, all those 100 papers. Suppose these are those 100 papers. Okay, I will select all those 100 papers. I will say, okay, I will write here, what was it? Quality.
Internal audit, yes.
Quality. You wanted quality, na? You wanted, if you are working on quality of accounting audit, don't you want to see that, is it a new topic or not?
There's some research on it, but I want to extend. I just want to put one of the variables, some new variables on it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You run query first. Run query. Okay. And if you see that in papers, there is a reference of quality in your accounting papers, which means it has been spoken about. Number one. Now look at this, and look at the output which has come. There were 100 papers. How many references can you see? Can you see the references?
7.
Can you tell me the number? Can you see the references in the line? Domestic artifacts, files. Can you read the number of references? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes. It's 7 references.
7 references. 7 references. What does it mean, madam? 100 papers I put in on accounting audit. 7 references about quality are there. What does it mean? Can you tell me?
It's not much.
Which means out of 100, 7 papers are talking about quality.
So 7% only.
7% only. More so, when you go further and analyze these references, okay, see, I've opened up the paper, so it is showing me quality. Can you see over here? It is showing where the word quality has come. So when I analyze this paper, I might find that these 7 references are coming only from 2 papers also. You get my point?
Okay.
Now tell me, is there a gap or there is no gap?
Yeah, there is a chance for me to write because it's still gap.
Yes, there is a gap. So now you go back and check like this.
All right.
Okay.
Ma'am, how can we know that the topic that we choose is already what do you call this, saturated or already much?
Ma'am, for that you will have to study your topic. There's no software can tell you. Even this thing, what I'm telling you, is a very generic thing after you've read many papers. You know, ideally, I put on Google Scholar, accounting, and quality study, and there are so many papers, I will not take that topic. I will not even bring it to Nvivo. Okay, so that comes from study. That nobody can tell you.
So that means we have to read and find out.
At least 100 papers on accounting standards, auditing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no numbers. I mean, like say after 20%, that means it's already we can consider as
no
a.
such.
All right.
No, it's a subjective judgment, ma'am.
Okay.
It's a subjective judgment. If there are only 7 references in 100 papers, which means the topic has not been studied, please go ahead and make a model for it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Actually, for example, I'm doing the work on COVID and the impact of COVID over infrastructure sector of Bangladesh. In that case, I am searching a number of literature review and papers, articles, where I have got few codings. And from these, what the advantage actually I'm getting? For example, I'm getting the words economics, or I'm getting the words like
Hussein sir, what you can do is, I'll explain. See where that coding is taking. Let's start the session for today, and at the end I'll give you half an hour. So we will finish somewhere around 7:30 today. So at 7 o'clock I'll stop again, so that you people, because you know, if I complete the process, you people, half the questions will be answered anyway. Okay, so let me start the process, and then we'll take questions now at 7. Okay, let me do at least 1 hour of solid this thing. So now you have made codes. Okay, now you have made codes. I was telling you yesterday that there are many types of data, and we have only done a coding of the interview transcript, right? I had to tell you the coding of picture also. So you all must be having this picture. All of you have this picture. I think I told you to.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how do you code pictures? Okay. A picture alone put into Nvivo will not be able to give you a code. A picture alone put into Nvivo will not be able to explain you anything. You will have to manually transcribe the picture into words, okay, so that Nvivo can analyze it, right? So all of you who thought that, you know, pictures and audios and videos could be thrown into Nvivo and Nvivo is going to listen to the script and, you know, analyze themselves, no, it is not possible. It's just not possible. Now, how do we code a picture? So suppose this was a picture that I collected from those households. I hope you remember my research question. My research question is, what are the sustainability initiatives of baby boomers in India Number one, which is an older generation, 50 plus. Number two, what were the motivations of these people to undergo these sustainability initiatives? While doing this study, I am using the 3R model. Right now, I am coding this picture based on the same topic. Now, I will highlight this one dress, okay, that this girl is wearing. And by the way, this is a dress. Of course, you should know that what happened over there. Why did you click the picture? You have to know logically that the software cannot guess. So the lady from whose house this picture is taken, if she says that, okay, I had a sari, okay, an expensive sari, and I converted it into a suit and I gave it to my daughter. Remember, even in the interview, the lady had said that my expensive saris I convert into suit and only give to my daughter. Right. Now, the sari has been converted into a suit. So I think as per my 3R theory, it can go into recycle code. So I will, highlight this picture, right click, go to code selection, and I will put this into, I have already created a code of recycle. I will just go and put this into the recycle code. Okay, so this is how I code pictures. Also, in case I want to write about this picture in words, okay, so I go to edit, okay, I just have to go on the top and press edit, and I can start writing over here. You can see me writing. You can write, the lady said that she would have not destroyed her sari and recycled it if it was not for her daughter. You have to actually manually write this. Now, if I select this sentence and I want to code the sentence, I have coded the picture, but I have transcribed the picture. I have converted it into words. So now if I have to code this, what do? I select it. Okay, the moment you select it on the number column, it becomes blue in color. Right click, code selection. And if you remember yesterday, I had made a code of emotion, or I had made a code of family. I had explained to you because, these things, ideally, yesterday I was speaking about saturation of data. You remember? So yesterday when I did a PI transcript, family, recycle, categorization of garments, emotions with the daughter or daughter-in-law, these factors had come out. Again, when it comes to the picture, these same variables are coming up. Let me show you another picture which you might not have. Okay, but I have. Look at this picture. Now, what do? This is actually a gunny bag which has been converted into a doormat by this person. Okay, so doesn't happen now, but used to happen in olden days in India. Now I select this gunny bag, I right click, I code selection. Now what is this? Is it reuse? Is it recycle? Or is it reduce? According to me, it is reuse. So reuse. I put it into the, so I right click and I put it into reuse. Further, if I go and click edit just above the picture, the software will allow me to write about it. So I can say the man used the gunny bag as a doormat. Okay, I can say used, or I can use the word reused, gunny bag as the doormat. Okay, I want to come to another code. So yeah, and he said that this was one method in which I could take into account the value for money. Okay, this is exactly what this man explained to me. Suppose I went to his home and this is a picture I took. This is exactly what the man explained to me about the gunny bag. Now I select this. Okay, this is what I've written. Now I select this. Okay, the moment I select it, this whole thing becomes blue. I right click it. I go to code selection. Here I will make a new code which is value for money. This was not there yesterday. It might have come in my interview transcript also, but by then I hadn't reached the whole interview transcript. Now here, this man is doing a sustainability initiative. He's doing a reuse of an article at domestic level, but he says my motivation is value for money. So now I create a new code, say value for money. So whereas in the last picture, I got the same code again, in this picture, I got a new code. This is about coding the pictures. Have all of you tried a hand on this and have been able to do this? If there's anybody who's got stuck, I'm waiting. And also I had done a text search just when people were asking doubts. Please try that also. So 2 things, please try and let me know if they are working. Coding the image and text search. I'm waiting for all of you to answer. Please do it right now. If you're having problems, let me know. And if you have done, you have to say done. No one has done it yet? Participants, are you trying it? Are you trying coding the image? Okay. 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 So when you're done, just unmute and say done. If 3-4 people are done, then I can go forward. Please try not only selecting and coding, but also transcribing.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Suppose we do not suppose I collect pictures only without even interviewing people. I just go and click pictures. So then also in the content, I'll just write my observations. That also can be done.
Yes, yes. And even these observations, ma'am, they are nothing but subjective observations of the researcher.
It could be anything, a picture or whatever it is. My
Yes,
observations can be done and then it can be coded.
Yes, it can be coded. Yes.
Thank you.
It can be changed into themes.
Thank you.
Okay.
How do we select that region and content? How do we type those matters in the content box?
Okay, so what you do is, sir, just above the picture, there's an edit button. Please tick it. Just above the picture, you have an edit.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, just tick it and you get the blank where you can write on the right side.
Two participants already done.
Okay, one person says done. What about the rest? I'm waiting for a few more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, 2 people done.
Now 4,
Okay,
5.
I can see on the chat there are 3 people.
5 people now.
4, 5 people. Okay, fine. So I'll go ahead. And those who are not done, don't worry. While I push these people who are, finishing faster to the next level, I'll come back to when they are trying the next level, I'll come back to this also. Okay. So this is about, transcribing a picture. But of course, I can imagine that all of you who thought that all these things will be done in an automated way in Nvivo, you must have come across a great shock. Okay, now let me come to video coding. The next thing is how to code a video. Now this is my video. I'm just playing it for a few seconds so that you know that why I collected this video as a data. All of you know my objective by now. So I'll just tell you why I collected this data. You'll know this when you listen a little to the video. Just listen a little.
It's not, there's no sound to this video.
Yeah, ma'am.
You can't hear?
No,
No.
Can't? Can nobody hear?
No, we can't hear.
Oh, give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
voice.
Okay, so when we share, I think there's an option of.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can you do that option for me?
I cannot do, because when you share your screen, then in the
Oh, okay. I got it.
in the down have 2 options with the PC. With the PC.
Share sound and just a minute. And now I say share. Okay, now I think you should be able to hear it. I'm playing it again. Just let me.
Piece of land.
Yes, we can hear.
Food forest.
Okay.
So I'll start from here.
We caught up with a couple from Kannur in Kerala who were living their dream, a dream of living naturally, away from the humdrum of the city.
This is my segment, Indians Baby Boomers.
In a 34-acre piece of land, they have grown their own food forest. They live in a tiny house made of earth, which is powered with solar energy and biogas. Meet Hari and Asha, a couple who built this micro-paradise called Nanavo.
പ്രകൃതി സൗഹൃദമായി എങ്ങനെ ജീവിക്കാമെന്നുള്ള ഒരു പരീക്ഷണത്തിലാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ. കഴിഞ്ഞ ഒരു 10-25 വർഷമായി ഈ രീതിയിൽ ജീവിച്ചു.
Okay, I've just stopped the video. I hope from whatever the introduction that you read, you know that this is related to my topic. These guys are a set of people who have become sustainable all of a sudden. They don't want the hustle bustle of the city. And they have, set a paradise over here, which means they've built up a mud house, a small mud house, very basic vegetables they are growing, and they are living in a very, very sustainable. So they're using solar energy. Okay, so there are so many things which relate to sustainability. And this is a domestic sustainability also, because it relates to their house. They're not talking about buying products or something. And they are baby boomers, and they are my Indians, so they are my target segment, which I was interviewing. Now, luckily, I got this video. You might get a few more also, but how do you transcribe? How do you code them? So first thing first, All of you, please click on this video. I hope you have downloaded it. I told you to download yesterday itself. So
Yes.
yes, you all have it. Okay. So on the top, you will see a stop button, which says F8. There is a play or pause button, and it says F4. On the right side, you see very tiny arrows. Okay. So when you take your cursor there, don't click, but when you take your cursor there, it says start selection. Okay. And there's a tiny arrow below it. If you take your cursor there, it says finish selection, F12. Okay. These are the, tools that we are going to use when we are, coding the video. Okay. So let's start. Now, just see how I do it. I'll play, I'll keep the volume a little low because I want to speak while, So I will hear this person out. Okay, so I'm playing him.
അത്രമാത്രം ഊർജം കുറച്ച് ജീവിക്കാമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു കൺസെപ്റ്റ്.
Start selection.
അതേപോലെ തന്നെ പ്രകൃതി സൗഹൃദമായി ജീവിക്കുക, യാതൊരുവിധ
I have already pressed start selection. You also do it.
ഇടപെടലില്ലാതെ ജീവിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. എല്ലാ ജീവജാലങ്ങൾക്കും വേണ്ടി ഉണ്ടാക്കപ്പെട്ട ഈ പ്രകൃതിയിൽ മനുഷ്യന്
Let it play for a
മാത്രമായിട്ട്
few seconds
ഇതില്ല
and
എന്നും
stop selection
അതേപോലെ തന്നെ
and stop the video. I played the video. I pressed start selection. I went to stop selection and I stopped the video. Now, on this timeline, you will see a very, very thin blue color rectangle which has been made. Can all of you see it? First thing first, please try this. And if you've tried it, please tell me, can you see this rectangle or not?
Ma'am, would you be able to please repeat this process?
I'll do that.
Once more.
I'm doing it again.
We
I'm
just
doing it
follow
again.
that.
I play the video.
ഒരു സ്പീഷീസ് മാത്രമായിട്ട് നിലനിൽക്കാനുള്ള ബോധ്യത്തിൽ
This
നിന്നാണ്
is what I want to, transcribe. So I start
Hari and
selection.
Asha tied the knot in 2007.
Okay. Let it go
Hari
for
is
a
a
few
former
seconds.
employee of the local water authority in Kannur, and Asha is
And
part of a
the below
community
button,
that helps
finish
farmers
selection.
practice
Now
natural
I
farming.
press finish selection.
It was Asha's dream to live in a
And
house made
I
of
go
mud
to
inside
stop
a
video.
forest.
Now it seems I can see that small 2.09 in the timeline. I can see a small rectangle.
Yes. Everybody else, please try and tell me if you can see this rectangle.
Yes, done.
Okay. Now, just go to the rectangle, right click it, and a pop-up comes up which says code selection. Okay. Now, for what these guys have explained for whatever minutes he spoke, okay, and what of course, this can't be done in the first go. I will have to see the video once or twice before doing this process. So I should know a point where, this guy is going to talk about this one. So if you see the translations that were done for his language, the English subtitles, it said that he wanted to have a harmony with nature. Also, when they talk about houses made of mud and solar energy, they were talking about harmony with nature. Now, this is one code which did not come up in my interview, which did not come up in my images or picture coding. So I build a new code and I call it harmony with nature. Okay, and I go to code selection. All of you, please do this. All of you, please do this. If you're done, please verbally say done.
Ma'am, please, can you repeat it once more?
I'll repeat. So everybody can see this blue rectangle? Everybody can see this blue rectangle?
Yes.
Right click. Take the cursor to the blue rectangle. Right click. Don't straight away click, the rectangle will vanish. If you straight away click, the rectangle will vanish. Bring the cursor near the rectangle and right click. Go to code selection. Go to create new. Go to harmony with nature. Write harmony with nature in the code and go to code selection to new. When you all are done, please do let me know you are done so that I can go to the next concept.
Ma'am, actually, I am not understanding how can I do this.
How can you see the rectangle, sir?
I'm seeing rectangle, but
You're seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing.
I'll tell you, don't worry. See, can you see my cursor near the rectangle? Can you see the cursor on the screen near the rectangle? Sir, can you hear me? Yeah. Right click from your laptop or whatever you have, just right click. Can you see this pop-up coming up which says code selection?
I'm doing again. I'll see.
Please do again, doesn't matter, take your time. So on this rectangle, right click, okay, and you will see code selection.
Ma'am, is it just I'm playing this video and then I'll see this screen like this?
I didn't get your point. So where are you stuck?
That means this video is on my desktop. On my
No, sir.
screen.
Import it into Nvivo now first. Have you not imported it into Nvivo?
This is something.
Yeah. So please go to
regarding
import. I'll tell you. Please go to import. Please go to files. Now see, the desktop is open. Click on the video and import it first. First import it into Nvivo, only then will these things work.
That means I'll go to the file, then I'll select.
Yeah, please import the video and then try it.
Thank you.
Yes. What about the rest?
Yes.
Done. How many have done?
Yes.
Okay, done. Great.
Done
so,
that.
Great. Now, when you go to video on the top and play again, just try and play.
Tied the knot in 2007. Hari is a former employee of the local water authority in Kannur, and Asha is part of a community that helps farmers practice natural farming.
It stopped. Again, play, see what happens.
Tied the knot in 2007. Hari is a former employee of the local water authority in Kannur, and Asha is part of a community that helps farmers practice natural farming.
Now, what is happening? The video is getting repeatedly playing only on this selected area. Now, what is happening? The software is giving you a chance to hear again and again your selection and appropriately code it. Number one. Also, what you can do is just above the timeline, you have an edit button, like the way you had it in images. Just press this edit. Now, the moment you press this edit, you get a box over here, like you had got for images. You get a box over here to write the content the way you had got for images. Now, because the software is allowing you to play the video again and again and again and again, please write down that the man worked as, say, whatever, so and so, and the woman worked with farmers. Okay, this is exactly what was being said. Now let us code this. Okay, so in this context, what I can see, or what we can see, that I will right click this. Okay, there are two codes that I can put it into. The fact that this woman works with farmers, I think I can put this also into harmony with nature because she is from that background. Number one. Number two, I can again right click. Okay, I can again right click and just a minute and make another coding where I say the profession. I'm just adding words into my selection. The profession of the participant made an impact on his sustainability initiatives. Okay, I can see that these guys are narrating what they have done. So over here, I right click and I go to code selection and I put a new code, which is profession of the participant. So here I see that what they were doing, or the profession of the participant, was impacting the sustainable initiatives of these people domestically, who baby boomers in India. This is the way we transcribe the video that we have. Now, will you all try and do this, or should I go forward? Do you want
We have the hands on, so you can move
you
forward.
have it. Okay, I'm moving forward. Now, I have done this for a part of video. Okay, so I've done it for this part, which was the rectangle part. Now I want to go forward. And you know, every time I'm playing a play, it is not allowing me to move forward because it's saying this is what you've selected, hear it again and again and again. That's okay. What you do is you have to get rid of this rectangle to go forward in the video. So what you do is just click on any place on the timeline. Click on any place on the timeline and you will see that the rectangle is gone. Okay. Now, again, play the video.
Tied the knot in 2007. Hari is a former employee of the local water authority in Kannur, and
This we have
Asha is
done.
part of a community that helps farmers practice natural farming.
From here, start selection.
It was Asha's dream to live in a house made of mud inside a forest.
കുട്ടിക്കാലം മുതലുള്ള എൻ്റെ ആഗ്രഹമായിരുന്നു ഒരു കാട് ഉണ്ടാക്കുക എന്നും കാടിന് നടുവിൽ പ്രതിക്കിണങ്ങിയ ഒരു ചെറിയ വീട് വെച്ച്
Finish selection. Stop.
കോളേജ് വിദ്യ
She says, I always wanted to be living in a house of mud. She also says, I always, during my college days, used to like forests. Right click, code selection, again put it into a code we have already made. Even this is harmony with nature. Even this is harmony with nature. Okay, and when I have to transcribe it over here in words, I will say the participant has had a love for nature, primarily the forests since childhood. Okay, again, if I want to code this, the code will again go into harmony with nature. Okay, have you understood? And again, because again, when I play this, it will again and again play the same selected thing. So again, to get rid of the rectangle, click on the timeline. Again, the rectangle is gone. Go forward with the video and transcribe the whole video in bits and pieces the way I have explained to you. Is this much clear?
Yes.
Okay, right. So now you know how to code or thematic analysis of a PI. You know how to code a picture. You know how to code a video. Okay, Okay, you know all the codings now. Now, the two major things which are left is getting data from social media. Okay, so that is one thing which is left. And the second thing which is left is model, making a model out of this, right? So now that you have learned all this and we have got all our codes, so you know, I input all sorts of data and I got all my codes. And if you want to see the codes again, these are my codes: value for money, reuse, recycle, emotion, family, donation, categorization of waste, and harmony with nature. These are the major codes I got from all the data that I've analyzed. Now, a question that one of the participants asked in the beginning: what do we do with these codes? What do we do with these codes? So I want to represent these codes in the form of a diagram. Okay, and after I have, you know, listed each of these codes in my findings, the way I showed to you in a sample paper that I showed to you, you know, so you make a code, you give a reference of a respondent, you say whether it matched the past literature or not. So that I've told you for every code how to do it in a research paper. And finally, we give a conceptual model. Remember, my base model was 3R and I'm to expand it. So I go to explore, I go to maps. There are many types of maps, but I go to a mind map. Okay. All of you, please do that. Please go to explore, please go to maps, and please go to a mind map. And please give it a name. Please give it a name, say sustainability. Sustainability model. Suppose I'm giving it a name, sustainability model. If you want to write description, you can write, otherwise just press an OK and you'll get this screen. Have all of you got this? If you've got, please say done so that I can start.
Ma'am, could you repeat this once more?
I'll repeat this. We go to explore, we go to maps, we go to mind map. Okay. When we go to mind map, there's a pop-up which says new mind map. It says give a name for the map or a description of a map, and we just give a name and press OK. And the moment we press OK, we get a screen or a window like the one you see in front.
Got it, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
How many have done it? Everybody has got this done?
Done.
Okay. Now I am making a mind map, or for me, it's more of a conceptual map. And I have to be very careful that while making this map, the variables or the theory that I had taken as a base, plus the extension I have done to that theory, or the novelty of the research or the gap of research which I have fulfilled, is very, very clear in this diagram. So let me say I started with a concept called sustainability. Okay, the sustainability concept was, you know, I went with the 3R model. So the sustainability concept was explained to me by 3Rs. Okay, so in this model, I have to add the 3Rs. So what you people can do is just right click. Okay, go to this, right click, insert sibling idea. Please go to insert sibling idea and write reuse. Again, just a second. Again, go to insert sibling idea a second time, write recycle. Sorry for the spellings. Again, go to insert sibling idea and write reduce. Please do this. This is my base model. First do this, and then we will add the extensions.
Ma'am, can you please repeat it?
Yeah, just a minute. So you have named you got a circle, this navy blue circle, all of you must have got. First, name the circle as sustainability. Just in between the circle, you will get a space to write down text. Okay, so just write sustainability. Now right click this circle and go to insert sibling. Okay, right click this and go to insert sibling. Okay, and do this thrice. So the moment you insert sibling, the first sibling you name as recycle, the second sibling you name as reduce, the third one name as reuse. Okay, so many people are saying done. Let me go forward. I'll come to doubts. At 7 o'clock, even if you guys have got stuck, you can share your screen. Okay, now in reuse, I found out something new. Now, I mean, I can write all variables within reuse, something which was there in past data also, and something which was not there in past data also. I will write all variables which were crucial when it came to reuse. So I go to reuse and I say insert child idea. Why? Because this concept was within reuse. So when that lady said that I reuse my saris or I reuse my garments, she spoke about donation. Okay. Was there something else in reuse that she spoke about which I can put as insert child idea? Yes. She spoke about family. Okay. Is there anything else she spoke about in reuse? Yes. Insert child idea. She spoke about emotions. Okay. If you remember in the reuse, there was something called, oh, sorry. This is wrong. Wherever you go wrong, just press that box and just press delete, it will go off. Within reuse, there was another child which was called categorization. So there was a categorization. She didn't reuse all things or did not donate everything. She was very categorical in her reuse. In reuse, if you remember again, I'm inserting another child idea. If you remember that man whose picture we had coded, he said, for me, the value, one motivation was value for money. Now, if you go to reuse again and insert another child, I think for the video that we saw, when those people were reusing something in their house, their motivation was harmony for nature. So harmony, sorry, with nature. Okay, right? Again, if I come to reduce, okay, so if uh, I know from my knowledge that there were people who said that we switch off lights. Okay, so I insert a child node or code, and I will write it as they also said value for money was something because of which we reduced our consumption, we bought lesser garments, we switched off the light. um, there are people who have also spoken about reduction when it comes to environment. Now, where environment or the concern for environment is a very big motivation for people who are reducing, and it is already proven through past research, value for money is one motivation which has never been stated in a research when it comes to reducing goods and moving towards sustainability. Okay, so now this is my model. Okay, let me zoom it in a little. This is something that I present at the end of my paper. And all these that you see in reuse are my extensions. My success of writing a paper would be when I can propose this conceptual model on the basis of the coding and theming that I did. And this sort of a model is not present in any competitor paper. Coming back to my competitor papers, I had three competitor papers. My success is that when I have presented this model in the paper that I have submitted, None of my competitor papers have listed these variables in sustainability in the 3R theory. Ever, forget Indians, not Indians. It's not been listed anywhere. Okay. And this is the model which makes it niche. Is this much clear? Is this much clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Now, let me come to the last part. Of course, the questions will come and your domain questions and your research questions will come. But there is one more part which I have to do. And for that, you'll have to be, okay, anybody who's not been able to do a coding of the video or pictures, I will come to you at 7 o'clock. Okay. And I will allow you to share your screen also. So we'll have a whole half an hour where you can share the screen and tell me where you got stuck. So that's why I'm not waiting for anyone like that. We have time. Let's go forward with the next concept. And for this, I told you all to download NCapture. Did I say that yesterday?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
told
Yes.
all of
Yes,
you.
you told.
Yes, great. So I am straight away going to my Google screen. Sorry, not the Google screen. I have to go to my Twitter. Can all of you please log in into your respective Twitter accounts? Can all of you please either log in into your Twitter accounts or your Facebook accounts? Anyone will do. I'm logging in into my Facebook account because just for clarity, but all of you please log into your Facebook accounts or your Twitter accounts. Now, having said that, if you want to ask me that, can we not do a social media analysis if we don't have an account? The answer is yes, you cannot do. So so this is my Facebook account, okay? And to analyze any data regarding my topic, sustainability of Indians from Facebook, I have to have a Facebook account, period. So all of you, please quickly open your account and say done so that I can quickly tell you how to import social media data. You could open Twitter, you could open Facebook. I am not talking about YouTube's and LinkedIn because when it comes to social media data extraction, uh, Nvivo is best with Twitter. It gives you a very thorough analysis like cluster analysis, etc., which I'm about to show you. And the second best it is with Facebook. Okay, with YouTube, it's not that good, although we can try. With LinkedIn also, extraction of data is not that good. The best data that it is actually, built for is Twitter, right? So this is the Facebook. Right? Have all of you opened the
Yeah, yes.
Yes, madam.
Okay, good. And also on the top, over here, you will see this on the top right side. And please open these Facebooks and Twitters only and only from Google Chrome. If you use any other browser, you will not be able to operate on NCapture. Right? So NCapture, I think I told you yesterday also, when you download NCapture, on any site that you open on Google, okay, you will be able to see this NCapture for Nvivo extension. The extension can be seen on the top right side of the screen. It is like a blue earth with an orange tape. Okay, a blue earth with an orange slip, something like that. Can all of you see the extension on Google when you open your Facebook and this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great, great, great. Which means NCapture has been downloaded. Okay, because this is a basic problem that I come across in workshops. Okay, I'm assuming that everybody has quickly opened up their Facebooks and this thing. Now, in Facebook, I have to search about sustainable India. Okay, so I go to sustainable India. Okay, or let's say I go to sustainability. Okay, sustainability is the topic. And I go to posts. Okay, so you have options in um, the Facebook. So either you can pick up all, okay, and you go to the, just click to that, capture for Nvivo. Okay, just click on capture for Nvivo, and you will see that it shows two types of options. So one, it shows web page as PDF, and second, it says article as PDF. Okay, so we can import it in any way. So this is what, when you go to article as PDF, all the post becomes a PDF file, like your secondary data research paper, remember? And if you are importing it as a web page as PDF, so the web page itself will get imported. Whatever you want to choose, please choose. And just, oh, sorry. Where did I go? Give me 1 minute to open it again. Yeah, so just go to, just the name has already been given by default, 20 plus sustainability something, and just go to capture. Just press capture. Okay, and below capture you will see there is an option of status of capture. Just go to that. Okay, just below capture, there is a blue color text which says show capture progress page. Just go to that, show capture progress page, just below capture. So first you press capture, and then below that there is something called show capture progress page. Just go to that. And you can see this page, okay, where it says that we have completely, captured all the posts that were related to sustainability on Facebook on the page which you took me to. Is it clear? Is this much done?
Right.
Clear.
Okay, can all of you see this page and see a tick mark in the status? Okay, now below you will see this file. Okay, just below on the left side corner, you will see this file. It's an NVCX file which has been developed, which has been uploaded. Please go to show in folder. So there's an arrow, okay, just next to this file on where it shows a shortcut of the file, the NVCX file, bottom left side corner. In my desktop, it is in the bottom left side corner. In this file, just go to show in folder. Just go to show in folder, and please click a picture of this. This is the path of the file. So the path of my file where this has got saved is this PC, local disk, users, Jaspreet.core, downloads. This is the path. Please, all of you click a picture of this on your mobile, because this is going to be handy when we open this up in Nvivo. I hope you have understood the process to know the path. Yes or no? Can everybody see the path of their files?
Yes.
Okay. What about the rest? Can all of you see the path of your NVCX?
No, ma'am, because that particular screen was not visible when you were showing the path.
Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you. See, can you see now? Can you see now? The moment I went in show capture progress page, just below you have a shortcut of your file, which has just been made.
Right.
Okay. Over there you have an arrow. Please click on the arrow. The arrow says show file folder. Please go to show file folder and you will get this page. Please go to show file folder and you will get this page. Now this page gives me the path of the file. So where is my file? Where has my file got saved? on the desktop from the internet, okay, from the Facebook, this gives a path. And this is important because when we go to Nvivo, it will give you a default path. And maybe the path is not similar to this path. This PC, local disk, user, jaspreet.co, download. Please note the path. Okay. So you will see the path. Please note down that path, all of you. Either write it down somewhere or please click a picture of that. Now go to Nvivo. Now go to Nvivo. Okay, this is my Nvivo screen. Okay, you might just get a pop-up of saving it because it's been 15 minutes. Just press a yes. Now over here in Nvivo, you have to go to import. In import, you will go to capture. All of you go to import. In import, go to capture, and you will see the file in this pop-up that has come up. Can all of you see this pop-up which has come up? Can all of you see
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
Great. So because I have downloaded many social media files, so it is showing me many social media files. For you, it will show only one file. If the file is not showing, check the path. See, on the top it says import from this path. See, users jaspreet.co download. Luckily, my path over here is similar to the path in which it was saved. If you people cannot see the file, please manually enter the path over here and then go to browse. You will be able to see the file. Please do this and I'll get a glass of water quickly. Yes, so is it done? Can you see the file? Please go to import and your file will be imported. And you will be able to see, if you can't see the file, if your this vision is open where mind map and all that is there, you just go on the left side on files, double click files, and you will be able to see the file sustainability Facebook over here. Double click it and you should be able to see it in the form of this tabular form where there is ID, post ID, posted by user, okay, tag, and all these columns you should be able to see, right? Okay. Also, the people who had imported in a similar way from Twitter, you will be able to see this vision from Twitter. So if you have uploaded from Twitter the file, it gives you two options. So it gives you an option of data set. So it says that you can import the file in the form of a data set. So those who went on Twitter have to download it as a data set. And if you download it as a data set, you will get these columns: ID, tweet ID, username, okay, all this, tweet time, etc. Right? So first thing, that the moment you extract data from the social network, you get some thousands of posts. And this software, as I said, works best with Twitter, where you can see it in a tabular form. So this is a table form where there are columns of tweets and time and retweets and the user ID from which it was tweeted, the number of times this user ID has tweeted about sustainability, hashtags, everything you will be able to see. Now, from table, if you see the vertical columns, you can go to chart also. Okay. So if you go to chart, it will start showing you uh, all the, if you see this user ID named as NPC/KM1 has given the maximum number of posts, about sustainability. And then these are the user IDs. So, it's sort of made a cluster of or a segregation of which are the major user IDs from which these posts are coming. Okay. So if you see user ID number 1, NPCKM1, the number of references, see the number of references means the number of posts are somewhere around 1969 out of the total posts that I had was 6,700. Right. So that's a huge amount. And that's why it's showing majorly in the graph. Below the chart, you have something called a cluster analysis, which can be done by the software for social media data. You might not be using all this in your research paper, but I'm telling you this. So these are clusters which the software has made on the basis of similarity of content. So, the software only understands words. So if I say that hot news Niger and Zamindar, these two user IDs have been clubbed together, which means probably they were speaking about a similar topic in their posts. Okay, so based on the words in the posts which are similar, the clusters will get formed in Twitter analysis. And then there are maps. Okay, so below cluster analysis, there is map. So in a map, in the maps, you can see the concentration of the posts and from where it comes. So, when I open the Facebook from India and I type sustainability, most of the concentration of the posts, actually came from Asia, you can see. And a few came from North America, Europe, very few from Africa, none from Australia. So it also gives you a geographical indication of where are the posts maximum being generated. So it's like saying that who are the people in the world who are talking about sustainability, India being number one, Europe and North America being the next in the row when it comes to sustainability issues. Okay, so this is one data which if you want to add, you can add. It's not necessary to add, but because my topic was sustainability, I'm just telling you how to assess. There's also something called a Twitter sociogram. Okay, and sociogram takes a little bit of time. Yeah, so yeah, so this is a very, very complex diagram, but I'm just showing it to you. Sociogram means social groups which have been linked on the basis of what they are speaking. So if I say this particular figure, okay, this particular figure which you see, these all posts are related in some way. They are talking about a particular concern. Maybe all of them are talking about environment. Okay, vis-a-vis that, if you see these loner posts, okay, one or two, They're talking about a bizarre topic, which probably we don't even need to include in our research. Okay. Vis-a-vis that, if you find another sociogram, something like this one, you know, the groups that you can see, the sociograms you can see, you need to get into them and judge the topic. So, you know, you double click them, and this is what people are talking about. So you need to read them and judge as to what are people talking about. Okay, so this is about Twitter analysis. When it comes to Facebook, I have shown you already, but let me show it to you. So see, this is Facebook. Okay, on the Facebook, you will see you just have a tabular form. You don't have the other options of clusters or sociograms or anything on the right side. This is because this software is compatible or has been made for a social media analysis of only and only Twitter and not Facebook, right? So this is about importing data from the social media. Now, you know, what can you do on this? So just imagine, let me try doing a word count on this. See, it's huge data. So let me go to word frequency and select items, and let me go to, say, sustainability Twitter, and say okay, and say run items. So let it do the word. So look, for those 7,000 posts that were there, which I had from Twitter, it has actually done a summarization of the number of words which have been spoken again and again. I could further make a word cloud of this also. So, you know, for that huge data of 7,000, 8,000 posts about your particular topic, uh, word cloud can be made, and you can analyze such an exorbitant data which comes from social media, which is very difficult to examine if I was doing it manually, right? So it's just making a word cloud which will tell you the prominent words which have come across about the world talking about sustainability in some 7,200 posts, right? So yeah, this is about it. Okay, so productivity is one code which has come up. Digital India is another. Efficiency, energy, water, quality. These are the major codes which have come up when people are talking about sustainability. Okay, right. So yeah, so that's about it from my side. We can stop, and in case if there are any doubts or anybody got stuck anywhere in Nvivo, because I was going a little fast because of the people who had finished it, now is your time to ask doubts.
Ma'am, absolutely not. We all followed it. The only difference that I got while importing I imported from the Facebook related to the sustainability.
Yeah.
But when I imported it, it got imported into a PDF.
Yes.
An Acrobat PDF.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference. So in that case, I was
is a
not
word
able.
count? Is it allowing word count?
Yeah, it is. It is. In fact,
Then
I was able to prepare the word cloud and the tree map and summary, everything. The thing I could not do was with reference to, I think, the sustainability Facebook that you showed, that is in the sequence, if you see from first, the fifth one. Yeah, that part I was not able to do with this PDF because the stable and form part will not appear.
Yeah. So you mean to say you aren't getting this tabular form in your data, right?
Right.
Right. So had you imported it, you can try that, sir. Importing it not as a PDF but as a web page. Try doing that.
All right.
Also, because it's not too compatible with Facebook, that's the reason, you know, you don't see the videos on Facebook. Whenever you see a video on Nvivo, you'll never see it on Facebook because it's more compatible with Twitter. In Twitter, it gives you a different option of data set. Okay, and you see the extensive analysis that it does on Twitter, it doesn't do on Facebook at all. Right?
Got it.
Yes. Any other doubt? There were many doubts in between. I stopped you. At least now you understand that how from collection of data to to coding of data, to making up a model, to writing a paper and presenting it, is that all you know about qualitative analysis? And because it's not statistical, I won't say it's easy, but I think it is definitely doable.
How to copy and paste this these diagrams or these models? It's as simple, just
okay,
right.
Yes, I'll tell you. If just a minute, huh? So I'm just sharing the screen again. Okay. So at any point, I'll give you an example of a word count, for example. This is my word frequency count. So you right click and it says export word cloud. Okay, the moment you say export word cloud, your desktop will open, and this can be exported as a PNG file or a GIF or a PDF or a JPEG file, right? You can export it.
Okay.
Any other doubts? Anywhere somebody's got stuck? You want to share your screen?
Yeah, the model you have shown.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the model you have shown looks very complicated. How can we explain this model to others? Have there any easy model or model? I have seen that from the
this is
network.
the most simplest one. This is the most simplest one that I could explain. You're talking about the mind map, right?
Mind map, yes, mind map.
Yes. So, see, when you get new variables, the model will get complex, and the more complex it gets, the better it is to, write in your paper, right? So if I show you, let me talk about my paper. Okay, so I go to explore, I go to maps, I make a mind map. Okay, and I say sustainability, and okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, right. So if this is my map, I'll make it a little simple for you. So I was working on a concept of sustainability. Okay, so sustainability was my concept. Okay, and I right click and inserted a sibling here. Now this is again from my understanding, because when you read theories say that sustainability can be achieved through 3 initiatives: reuse, recycle, okay?
Ma'am, I have understood this model. This is not very tough, but the what was this? The previous model from the Facebook or something, Twitter you have shown, where there is lot.
Wait. You're talking about the social media.
Output. Yeah, he means the output.
Okay. Yes. You mean the output which I had shown in Twitter?
Yes. That
So
is too tough to me. Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, this is tough, sir. See, there's a huge data. If you feel that, and what it's giving is, it's giving you the, clusters as per, say, the user name. It has done its job. It's done its automated job. But of course, studying this will be will take some time. Especially if I go to cluster analysis. So, suppose this is the cluster. Okay, so I can just click on what Zamindar said. So if I click, I have these references, sir. I'll have to read these references. Only then can I say why Zamindar and that person was clubbed together. Okay, so if I'll give you a small example. If you see these references, he's speaking about water sources, government, water sources, environment, government, water sources, environment, etc. Now, if I was to add this data into my model, I could have, in a way, right-clicked these references, any one of these, okay? And this is a reference which has come again and again and again. So he's reposted this many a times. Now, suppose I take up this reference, okay, hashtag, whatever it is. I right-click it and I go to code selection. So, I did have a code called Harmony with Nature. And that is exactly what this reference is talking about. So I can definitely put it into this. So, this sort of an analysis, of course, I agree, social media analysis is difficult, but you just don't go by these files, just don't go by the charts or the clusters or whatever. You will have to do other operations on these files. Like one operation which I showed you was a word count. Okay, let me do another thing. With the social media. Now you go to explore. I told you another function. Just a second. There was another function which you can do on social media data, which I told you right in the beginning, which was, for example, checking my codes. Now I have made a code called donation, and I want to know that is the world talking about it. So I go to explore and I go to text search. Right, in text search, I select items. In select items, I suppose I go to my Sustainability India Twitter search and I say, okay, right? Now I want to see if donation has ever been, discussed about as a theme when people are talking about sustainability in the social media. So see, just one reference. 6,703 and just one reference. So you know this social media data can come handy for me when I am about to write a managerial implication for my paper, right? So of course understanding the clusters is very difficult, but these operations are very easy. Now if I see that the world is not talking about donation, okay, I will list it as my model, but the managerial implication for this generation is going to be very difficult. Okay, so what can I conclude from this? See, logical reasoning you will have to apply as a researcher. Now, if I have got just one reference of donation, this is today's generation. Who's there on Facebook and Twitter? It is young generation, Generation Z. What will I conclude? I will conclude that data was taken from Twitter and Facebook. Okay, this data consisted of another generation. And if I go by the word count or I go by the text search, I found out that donation was not a value in reuse or recycle or sustainability initiatives among Indians when it came to the younger generation. And here they are different from their baby boomers generation. So this is just one implication, but for this, the logical reasoning you will have to do that no software will give you. See, any software just gives you data. The amount of interpretations that you can do from that data is absolutely your forte, sir. Nobody can do that. And how well you do the interpretations, that is how well a research paper becomes. Right? So this nobody can help you except for experience and, doing it again and again and logical reasoning. Reading a few papers, please read a few papers on Nvivo. Okay, one I have shown you, and I can probably, we have time, I can show you one more. Meanwhile, any other questions? Please put your questions. I'm showing you a few more sample papers.
Ma'am, while we will start for applying this Nvivo in our research, I think that we will face many problems. In that case, what can be, how can we communicate with you, or how can we solve this problem easily? And because
Sir,
what we have learned today, that may not be enough for applying everything in my research. So can you tell me that what should be the solution?
Sir, see,
ma'am, I have the same doubt, ma'am. What video you have shared, no? Like we start practicing only, we will have more and more doubts.
Yes.
So what video you have shared, that YouTube channel of yours, is this covering till the social media analysis, or how is it?
It's covering much more, ma'am. It's covering much more.
Okay.
It's covering much more. So they are like 5-hour sessions. Okay. And they are covering much more.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So don't worry, that is there. But what happens, ma'am, that in a workshop, a person will always give an example of their own domain. Okay. And that is because now there was a madam who said that in accounting, I'm doing, auditing and this. Now, only why do you think I could make these codes very easily? Is because I've read a lot about this topic before writing a paper. So, if you think I've just made this up all for the workshop, no, I have lived this for somewhere around an year now. This paper took me, the construction of the paper has taken me 8 months. You can imagine the amount of reading I must have done on this topic. Okay, getting videos, getting pictures, so, when you start studying your topic, irrespective of whether you do it on Nvivo, whether you do it manually, in a qualitative research, when you are giving that person a new conceptual model, you're taking a model as a base, doesn't matter. The 3R is a base, but you're giving him something new. How can you give him something new till the time you don't study all the literature which is available in your topic? And that is the Herculean task. And please believe me, if you read 100 papers of your particular domain, all these things that I've done will become easy. Right? And this
Can
is
you
one.
please share some papers using Nvivo?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So that we can,
Yes, I will be sent. I'll just mail it right away. And this is another paper of psychology and marketing. This is an A-star Journal of Willy, and it's a 2019 paper, so it's the latest paper, and they have purely used Nvivo. I mean, extensively used. Generally, in a qualitative paper, the format is like the one I showed you yesterday. So we make a theme, we explain the theme, we give a quote, and we say, okay, this matches with past literature or not. So Dr. Arpan Kaur has used just two parts of Nvivo, which is word count, and I think he's used sentiment analysis. Now here, if you see in this paper, uh, they have extensively, so what these people did, they had a priori Nvivo codes. Now, a priori Nvivo code means that they did not read the word to word document and do a coding, rather they had these codes in mind. Now, in this paper, you will see the codes that they had in mind were attitude, positive, relevant. They named it as ATTPOSREL. There was attitude, negative, relevant. Okay. Attitude, positive, irrelevant. Attitude, negative, irrelevant. They have given a coding to all, they've already decided their codes and then gone to Nvivo. Unlike us, where we had made a model. This is called a priori Nvivo coding. Benefit, positive, relevant. So, and they have defined each and everything. Now, this Nvivo will not tell you this comes through reading A grade papers. So when they have taken an a priori Nvivo code, they have defined that. What do they mean by saying positive product attribute? Because despite the fact that they are defining it, despite the fact that they are giving these a priori and Vivo codes, the editor or the reviewer is going to ask that, how did you, come up with codes yourself? You have not yet done the analysis. How did you do it a priori? So for that, they have defined, they have used theoretical knowledge, past theoretical knowledge to define the a priori code. After doing so, they have got to data synthesis, where they have done coding. Okay, so uh, you can see they have used social media data. They have used social media data of 3 companies, Kellogg's, Pepsi, and one more company. And they have extracted that data. And on all that data, they have tried to, put into these codes, the codes which were there a priori. Okay, so these are some examples of please mute yourself, everyone. These are some examples of the posts or quotes that they used for coding. Okay. Further, there is also this is this thing. So they have also, so this is a region wise diagram that you get in NVO. Okay. uh, where each and every code and its region is shown. So if I say attitude negative relevant, ATTNEGREL, you see a very huge portion of that. So this shows that from social media, those 7,000 posts, the posts which are talking about a company, Pepsi or Kellogg's, etc., the negative attitude but relevant posts had a huge percentage vis-a-vis the other a priori quotes that were given in the paper. Further, in discussions, they have also given for each code, they have given some quotes. Now, this is something which was done in Dr. Arpankar's paper also. So when they say that this is my code, they have given an example of the code. And they've given an example of a code from each of the brands, social media posts. So for each of the code, they have given an example. This is nothing but references. We have been talking about references extensively. So this is nothing but references. They have further gone to, they must have extracted 3 files from Encapture, one from, say, the Twitter page of Domestos, one from the Twitter page of Kellogg's, one from the Twitter page of Pepsi. For each of the pages, each of the social media file from Facebook, they have done a word count. Okay, and this is the word count analysis of, I guess it could be 3 files taken from social media, one from the Facebook page of Domestos, one of Kellogg's, one of Pepsi. They have done a word count. This you have also done. They have shown the word count in the form of a word cloud.
Is it the content analysis?
Yes, content analysis. Yes. They have also shown the same in the in the pictorial form or the word cloud. Okay. They have also done clustering. Okay, clustering between the codes. Okay, this can be done. Further, they have finally, written whatever they found out. And after making these themes, okay, they have again given examples. So in every paper, you see a normal format in qualitative research. They write a paragraph about the theme and then they give a quote. They again write a paragraph about a theme, again they give a quote. Okay. And finally, these are the models that they have come up with, okay, when it comes to their research on the basis of the analysis of the social media data. And this is the last chapter, managerial implications. So the analysis finishes with a conceptual diagram, the way ours finished with a conceptual diagram. Right? I'll be sending you these papers. Right? Yeah, so that's about it. Any further doubts? We have a last 10 minutes. So
if we face any problem, can we communicate with you?
Oh, yes, please. I'll give you my email ID.
Thank you.
I'll give you my email ID, number one. So this is my email ID.
Also, the WhatsApp group will be active. No issue.
Oh, yes, WhatsApp group will be active. This is my email ID. YouTube channel link you already have. Okay, and for any of my further FTPs, I am there on LinkedIn by the name of Jaspreet Kaur from Pearl Academy. So in future, if you ever want to attend any advanced Nvivo, I generally update it on my LinkedIn, or I put it up in a Telegram group also that I have. But you guys are there with me on WhatsApp, so I don't think you should be having any problem. You can always mail to me. Okay, in case you're writing a paper, planning a paper, please mail to me. Right? Yes. Any other doubts? Anything you want to ask? Because yesterday there were so many doubts. I thought today also after the session there'll be hordes of doubts.
Dr. Hassan, you want to say anything?
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask one question regarding the transcribing.
Yeah.
Now, normally, the process for qualitative is why we take the interview and then we have the transcribing and then we put it into Nvivo. Now, that's a normal procedure. Now, since Nvivo also offers where you can code on audio, we can code on video, will it be accepted if we just upload the audio onto the Nvivo and directly do the coding with the audio instead skipping the
Sir, as
transcript?
far, I'll tell you, see
Yeah.
whether it is, see, NVivo software doesn't do that, number one. Okay. So if you think that you will take an audio 45 minutes with your sample and you will put it into a software and it will turn it into words, okay,
Yeah.
there are softwares like this, but NVivo does not do this.
No, ma'am. I just asked like I'm not telling that voice to text. Actually, I meant like instead of doing the transcribing itself, what we do is we upload this voice recording into Nvivo, and
Yeah.
just like we did the procedure of commenting on each sentence or
Yes, that
taking
can
it,
be
we
done.
can do
So
that. Will it be
what you're
accepted?
I got it. So what you're trying to do, what you're trying to say is that rather than bringing a word transcript, like we did a coding for the video, okay,
Yeah.
similarly, we can do a coding for an audio file. The
Yeah.
concepts are absolutely same. When you bring
Okay.
an audio file, there is the same play button, there is the same start selection, there is the same stop selection.
Yeah.
Everything is same. And yes, it can be done in this way also.
Okay, but
There
is
is
there any disadvantage if we do like that?
no, there is no disadvantage. Why? See, anyways, you know, when I this interview transcript also which you see, I
Yeah,
first recorded it on an audio, and
correct. Yeah.
many a times, you know, when I was the problem in my research was that I was dealing with old people. So there are times when the lady has actually started speaking in Punjabi. So
Okay.
because
Okay.
I got it from Delhi, a few samples from Delhi, so I could understand Punjabi, so I coded it into English myself. But
Okay.
uh, you know, those ladies are speaking very fast in those 30 minutes. You can't write everything. So I brought an audio, I heard it, and then I wrote it down in. So it is the same thing now, whether you're writing it in a Word file or whether you're bringing it to NVivo and writing in again, it is words only. Now you're converting into words, so it's absolutely fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And
coding
second,
directly from media files is absolutely fine.
fine. It will not be
Yes.
an issue when we are submitting the paper in the
No,
methodology, nothing
no,
like that. Okay.
no, because I think the biggest issue that is there nowadays with qualitative research is that many of my students ask me that I have these ready-made files of 45 minutes
Yeah.
and give me a software which converts them into words. And mind you, forget the
Yeah.
softwares, Google does that.
Yeah.
Google
Yeah.
does
Google
that.
does
It
that. Yeah.
translates and converts. But if you
Yeah.
see the number of mistakes that Google makes,
Yeah.
the whole, you know, the whole sense of the data will change with that.
Correct. Correct.
And
Yeah.
I would not recommend that.
Okay. And second one, ma'am, you explained about the mind mapping.
Yeah.
So mind mapping, normally you do it before we start coding or we do it after we start coding, after we are done.
See, the 3 hour mind map I can make before coding.
Okay.
Okay. But, you know, the other things that I added,
Yeah.
obviously, once, you know, I've analyzed data, only then can I do it. The initial mind map of 3 hours, or suppose you're working on the UT theory or a theory of planned behavior, that you can do initially.
Okay. Then later, as and when we go on with the coding, we update the mind map.
Yes, and the more you update, the more you extend a present model. So that the more you do, the better it is.
And another question, ma'am, for thematic analysis, normally what would be the ideal number of themes you need to have, like final analysis? Any optimum number or anything like that?
No, there are no optimum number, Hishansa, but you know
Well,
what? when you divide it into themes, make sure that one theme is not overlapping with the other. So
Okay.
suppose you have made a theme called harmony with nature and you have made a theme called environmental concern.
Okay.
Ideally, these both are the same.
Okay.
So if you list, so clubbing of themes you make as many, but clubbing of themes should be done logically. And my suggestion to you is that when you're clubbing themes,
Yeah.
don't do it alone.
Okay.
Three authors do it separately so that the same things have been clubbed. And any qualitative research before publication has to be shown to an expert
Okay.
because he has the best conceptual knowledge. So it has to
Okay.
be shown, it has to be, in quantitative data, we do reliability by Cronbach, right?
Correct.
Or
Yeah.
validity by something. But in
Yeah.
qualitative research, the validity is done by showing these themes to experts and saying, this is what we have clubbed. They are the best people who
Okay.
can. And we write in papers also that we established validity through this.
So when we give explanation about the reliability and validity of the data for qualitative, it is more like expert opinion analysis, something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
And another point in which you can validate data, or you can say you validated data, is that you take data from different outputs.
Okay.
Don't just rely on personal interview. Look at the number of inputs that I have put into data. So,
Correct.
if donation came in personal interview, donation also comes in, say, pictures. Donation
Okay.
also is seen in videos. So there has to be a synchronization of all data. That is what validates your research.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just one question, that is, what theory is very much relevant for qualitative research? Have there any, you have told regarding the 3R theory?
No, sir, there is no such theory. You will have to see your domain and then decide which theory. There's nothing like a particular theory is good for qualitative research or particular is good for quantitative research. There's no such thing.
Depends on your topics, objectives, the context.
And gap also.
Yeah, and gaps.
Gap also. Another thing that in case of reference, for example, for donation, there are 7 references. Is it needed that the 7 references from 7 papers?
Not necessary. These 7 references could be from one paper also.
And it is needed that I have to read all the papers or like this? Or
yes, sir. Even before doing analysis, you have to read some 100 papers from your domain anyways.
I'm not understanding that the calculation of 7 is from where actually?
Sir, the 7 is on the basis of the word. The word donation has been repeated in all those papers.
How many times the word mentioned in the papers?
Yes.
Any questions further? We can take 2 questions finally.
Ma'am, just I wanted to know, like, do you have any videos related to sentiment analysis in your YouTube?
Yes, it's
channel?
there. It's there. So
Okay.
there are many topics which cannot be covered in such a short time.
Yeah.
So there are videos of sentiment analysis.
So I can refer to your YouTube channel for
yes,
sentiment
yes, yes.
analysis.
Yes,
Okay.
sentiment analysis. There's something called classifications. Okay.
Okay.
Apart from mind map, there are project maps, concept maps.
Okay.
Everything is there in the videos.
And what about auto coding, ma'am? Auto coding?
Auto coding is also there in videos.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Basically, 5 and 6 hours is not sufficient to be expert in qualitative. So we
yeah, because there's a lot of options even in Nvivo.
repetitions must made us skillful. So any other questions? If don't have any questions, we can conclude.
I don't think there are any questions. So I think
yeah, it was
quite a few
wonderful.
questions were there at the beginning of the session also.
Yeah, so our WhatsApp group will be active, no issues. Anytime if you face any questions or issues, you just raise your questions. We will try to solve it. And thank you, everyone, and thank you, our key facilitator. It was a wonderful session. I also learned a lot personally, and I hope you also learn a lot. And we have to practice. Without practice, we cannot be skillful. So in future, we also try to organize, and continuation of this program will be happened. And in October also, I have planned to organize one session by the Atlas on another software for the qualitative. So you just keep in touch and give us around 1 week to send the certificate, because we all have to do manually and with my small capacity. And that recording will be shared by tomorrow.
Thank you.
I will email everyone the both sessions
Thank you,
recording
Diaz.
and with the slides. Okay.
Thank
so
you.
No worries, and keep in touch with Onism. And thank you for your support and your active participation. So take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
And I will share some ebooks and also some announcement. I will share into the person.
Also, Imtiaz, if you could, email us the PDF of Arpan card that Madam was, because that we have not yet received to us in an email.
She didn't send, if she sent, I will share, and I will share some paper of mine also. I have some quality.
Yeah, so wherever the Nvivo was used, so that would be helpful for us to know how citation and referencing is also done.
Yeah, sure.
That way, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. You just share your opinions or feedback into your social media and tag the Onism. So I will share the ebooks, some ebooks as a gift token. No issues. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, and stay safe.